Is this you, cross-rutted, sad and wishing you knew what just happened? Well, a MiniTip Monday on riding ruts is probably going to help. If you're watching this, then thanks for your continued support on Patreon. This video was made off the back of your suggestions, and as with every video, I'm excited to help you as best I can. Ask any questions in the comments or on Discord, and I'll do my best. Ruts are pretty tricky things. They come in all shapes and sizes, they're caused by different vehicles or different weather, but in my experience, the techniques for riding them are pretty similar regardless of those parameters. However, learning to ride ruts is a bit complicated, so we're going to split this into two episodes. The first episode, I'm going to cover all the basics, the theory of riding ruts, and in the second episode, we're going to talk about how you go from novice to being a feet up rut riding master. At a basic level, the theory for riding ruts, I think, is broken up into 6 separate parts. Body position is out first. If you're off balance, it's impossible to ride a rut well. So we need this to be as good as it can be. The biggest part of this is heels down. Dropping your heels helps you balance better and pressure the foot pegs properly to control the bike. This body position won't be a static thing in trickier ruts. You're gonna have to move a lot on the bike. Your feet will change to pressure the foot pegs, but heels down is always the position we want to start from and the position we want to end up in. Next up on this list is where to look. Now, the nature of a rut sucks your vision downwards, but it's kind of a counterproductive thing, so you really want to bring your vision up. We don't want to stare blindly at the horizon, but we do want to look at a bit of a middle ground and scan the terrain as we ride. I'm kind of looking about here on this rut. I think throttle control is really important. If you're a bit of a Bertie blip, you like to turn the throttle a lot, this is going to be much more difficult for you. You see, when you're riding a bike, every time we turn the throttle or we close the throttle, it affects the whole bike. So when we accelerate, the bike squats a little bit at the back, and when we decelerate, the bike dives at the front. So if you're on and off the throttle all the time, you make the bike seesaw. It makes it much harder to ride ruts. So the goal is to have nice, constant throttle consistently all the way down the rut as best you can. The speed for riding ruts is pretty simple. While momentum is your friend, I've talked about another concept recently, and that's the idea of not overstepping the speed with which your brain can process information. If you ride too quickly, your brain can't keep up, and then if your brain can't keep up, you're gonna make a mistake. That's gonna be different for every person on every single day, and you just have to learn a little bit about how fast you feel like you can process stuff. Don't overstep that line. Remember, me cross-rutted at the start. If that's you, it's because your brain's confused as hell. The clutch is here purely as a safety net when you're riding ruts. It's there for when you make a mistake, so if I get a little bit out of shape, a little bit off balance, or the front wheel starts to climb out of the rut, I'll nip the clutch slightly to take the drive away, turns us into a big bicycle. An important part of this, however, is learning not to pull the clutch all the way to the handlebars and then try and find the bite point again. You really just want to work either side of the friction zone of the clutch, so we're making small movements, small adjustments, and everything can happen nice and snappy. Choosing your rut is a tricky game. Whether you choose rut 1, 2, or 3 comes a little bit down to experience, a little bit down to luck, and a little bit down to making sure you're actually aware of where you are and where you're riding. Good vision. The best bet is to always avoid ruts if you can. If there's a better option, you're in a rut and there's a nice big empty field next to you, that's going to be way easier. The second option is to stick with the rut you've got. Sometimes the rut over to your right or left looks better, but it's a situation of the grass is always greener. Changing ruts is very difficult. It's a very easy way to crash or get stuck or use a lot of energy. And quite often, the rut you're in is perfectly fine. You'll ride it out and it won't be any worse further down the line. If you've enjoyed this video, I reckon you'll probably really enjoy this other one that we did on body position. It is very useful. We've also got a bunch of other ways that you can get involved with Brake Magazine. We've got a web shop where we sell really nice t-shirts, stuff like this graphics kit. We've designed it all ourselves. And we've got an amazing Patreon page where we have exclusive content like MiniTip Mondays that don't make it to YouTube, podcast episodes in the Discord channel, and way more. Otherwise, remember, life's better when you ride.